like to call this meeting to order of the Geneva Historic Preservation Commission for Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. Will you call the roll?
Yes, I can call the roll. Okay, Zelmer?
Turn on your...
Oh, I'm sorry. Zelmer?
Here.
Tobler?
Here.
Jensen?
Here.
McManus? Here. Phillips?
Here.
Solomon? Not here.
Great, we have a quorum. First item on our agenda, or next item on our agenda is the approval of meeting minutes for July 15th, 2025. Does anyone have any comments or corrections for the meeting minutes? If not, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second? Call the roll.
Zelmer?
Aye.
Tobler?
Aye.
Jensen?
Abstain.
McManus?
Abstain.
Phillips?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, the next item on our agenda is review of building permit applications, and it's 420 South Street, case number 2025-055. Emily?
Quick correction, because I just now realized I forgot to add this to the agenda. We actually have a 5-minute field guide first up.
Oh, okay, great.
I thought
Oh,
we
wonderful.
jumped in a
George
little
isn't
quick.
here. He's gonna be mad.
Go ahead and
watch
start
it
your
anyways.
5-minute field guide.
So today's 5-minute field guide, based on some conversations that we've been having as a commission for the past few months, is about historic windows, specifically energy efficiency and historic materials on historic windows. And I know there are some of you here today that are talking about historic windows. This is not directed at any of you. No worries about that. So first, energy efficiency. Historic preservation, energy efficiency, and environmental sensitivity are all really tightly connected, even though it doesn't always seem like it with that sort of scientific futuristic idea of energy efficiency and the history of historic preservation. Many historic structures were originally designed with inherent energy-saving qualities, pre-HVAC and heating, including operable windows, natural light sources, clerestory, transom windows, skylights, overhanging eaves, or shifting wall thicknesses and materials. Like up here, we're much more likely to use heavy stone to be warm than down south. These factors should all be considered when evaluating the energy efficiency of a structure, especially historic ones. And today we're going to talk about those connections in terms of windows as a way to focus our attention on one common aspect of preservation. So during rehabilitation projects, the most common energy efficiency related issues are reducing air infiltration around windows and doors and insulating attics and walls. This diagram is actually a pretty commonly cited diagram and similar ones like it of where we see heat loss in buildings. As you can see, the least heat loss actually comes out of windows and doors. That number, depending on the person testing it, ranges from 10 to 20%, but it's almost always less than what's coming out of the walls in the attic, especially when those things are uninsulated. So there are a range of options for preventing heat loss from windows in historic buildings, which continue to retain the historic fabric, character, and the original energy-saving qualities that are built into the house. This is an example of one of the easiest ways to do that, which is weather stripping. A lot of people are able to do this at home pretty easily, following tutorials like the one that I'm referencing here from the This Old House website, which I'm sure you all have seen now and then. A study by the Window Preservation Standards Collaborative showed that weather-stripped historic windows with storms can be easily made to exceed the 2012 Energy Code requirements, which is what most building codes follow. This is something that a lot of people are able to do, and it's also a really cheap way of doing it when you're faced with needing to have something quick and you can't really afford to do a full redo of your building or windows. You can also take things a step further by using techniques like a blower door test or infrared scans that are pretty cheap to be able to buy and just have an attachment for your phone these days to understand where heat is being lost in your windows and what more intensive repair jobs are necessary. And just as an aside, weather stripping goes on that area in the frame, not in the gap between a window, like my house in New Orleans was. Doesn't really work as well. I can tell you from experience. So how did we conserve before heating and cooling? Like I mentioned, we always had ways to conserve energy even before are modern options. A common example for our area is the traditional use of storm windows, which essentially bring the energy performance of historic windows to that of a new double-paned one. The addition of exterior storm windows alone has been proven to cut air infiltration by 64.3%, bringing it below the 2009 International Energy Conservation Code standards, which again is pretty similar to what most of the US is currently using. And the Craftsman blog does a lot of work on historic wood windows, and it's another great resource if you're interested in learning more. So using historic wood windows also means we're using historic materials, which allows us to lessen the overall environmental impact of our property, sort of paying more attention to the environmental sensitivity overall rather than energy efficiency of your specific house. We all know the line, the greenest building is the one that already exists. The building sector is actually the biggest source of carbon emissions in the world. And when it's possible to opt for elongating the life of historic material over replacements, we keep that material out of landfills, and we also reduce the amount of carbon emission and resource use that it would take to create and install replacements. This SOI document, Secretary of the Interior, that I referenced here is a great document that goes into that in much further detail. Finally, if you're interested in repairing your wooden windows or learning more about the variety of advantages and repair options to retaining them, these books and the articles referenced on previous slides are good resources. If extra reading isn't your thing, True Tales from Old Houses is an interesting podcast, which is run by one of the authors of The Case for Historic Windows, and the other author of that book is actually the author of one of the blogs that I mentioned earlier as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along to 420 South Street.
Correct.
So this is where the property is located, right down there on that southwest corner of the district, as its street name sort of alludes to. We don't have a lot of history of this property because it is relatively new. Between 1923 and 1945, according to Sanborn Fire Insurance maps, it was actually used to host outbuildings like stables and garages for the house nearby, 502 4th Street, which at that point had charge of that entire block. The house was actually constructed in 1968, which is after our current period of significance, and that's really the main history we have on the construction process of the building. We do have one permit that was pulled in 1987 for a new roof. So this is the site currently of the house, and just as a reminder, the proposal is demolition of the house for future rebuilding. We have a one-story brick and frame residence with an attached garage underneath the house. Some of the existing conditions, including some rot damage, and this is, I believe, in the garage, yeah, where there's a lot of water issues and leakage because of its location sort of, as you can see, lower underneath the house. And then we also have a preliminary replacement footprint. Of course, any replacement would have to come back before the HPC for discussion and approval. So this is just early stages, but it's important to note that the use as a single-family residence would continue, so that would continue throughout the entire property history. And this is just for ease of understanding. This is an approximate before and after of the site. So what's there now and what might go in afterwards, whether the demolition is approved. If you want to come up and say anything extra.
Sure.
If you could state your name for the record.
Sure. My name is Steve Kuhn. Live in Geneva.
Welcome. Do you live in the house currently, or are you renting?
I rent it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I bought it in 22, I believe, and did some. It looks a little bit better than it does in the pictures because I did paint it inside and out so I could at least rent it. Mm-hmm. Until I decided exactly how I wanted to develop it. And so that's been the plan, is to, first I looked at it to think, can I do something with what's here? and it's in really rough shape. You could tell the permit from '87, that's the original roof from '87. It's in sad shape. And so I just kind of Band-Aid the house for the last few years. And made the decision that it doesn't fit anything that my wife and I want. So we're going to start from scratch, is the plan.
Okay.
Build something nice. And I think, I sent Emily too, I asked both neighbors who, since I bought it, we've communicated, and they're like, what are you going to do, what are you going to do? And ultimately I said, well, we're going to start over is the plan. And both neighbors on either side are in support, and we provided a letter from both of them to that. So it's pretty cut and dry. Obviously, once I have an architect put something together, you guys will have a chance to look at all that. But it is going to be a single-family resident that would go back in its place.
Actually, that doesn't have a lot of bearing on this decision.
Right.
Because what you put back is just got to meet the requirements, or.
Understood. I'm just saying, though, it's everything's going to be transparent.
Sure.
In terms of, what I plan to do. It's not going to be anything out of the ordinary.
Yep.
And in keeping with the community, nothing.
Yeah.
Not going to get, trailers and park it in there and try to work around that, nothing like that.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
Well, you go first, Julie.
I don't have any questions. I don't really have, I don't have any concerns since it was built after the period of significance. It's not historic. It's in the historic district, but it's not historic. I have no questions. I have no problems. Good luck.
Thank
I'm sure
you.
it's going to be beautiful.
It will be.
Yeah, I was going to say similar sentiment. What you end up putting there is a different submission and a different case entirely, so.
Right.
But yeah, those below grade garages.
It's terrible.
Are a disaster. Yeah, those never work
Winter's
out
scary
well.
as heck.
Yeah.
I can't
in
imagine
there.
trying to go in and out of that with anything on the driveway at all.
I warn the
Yeah.
tenant all the time. I said, please make sure that driveway's clean before you pull down there, because they
Yeah.
can go right through it.
Just right
Yep.
through,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
I have one question.
Yes.
Is there, I noticed in the photographs here that, what are the condition of the wood floors in there? Is any of that salvageable? Or would you be interested in doing that? I know that interior's not our
Yeah.
bailiwick,
I mean,
but-
it's, I did try to clean it up, before the tenant. I mean, it looks better than it did when I got it, but honestly, I don't think it's worth trying to
Just was
salvage.
curious.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything to add?
No, it's pretty straight cut and dry.
Yeah,
All right, can I make a motion?
sure.
Everybody go with that? I'm not cutting anybody off from their future thoughts?
No?
Okay. Well, then I move to approve the application for a structure demolition at 420 South Street.
Second.
All right, I'll take the roll. Zelmer,
Aye.
Tobler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Phillips.
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. We'll see you again.
Okay,
Great.
good luck.
I look forward to it.
Thank you.
For
Thank
coming
you.
in. I'll send you an email tomorrow.
Perfect, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is 302 North First Street. Yeah, for front stoop rehabilitation, case number 2025-059.
Great. So we have here, basically on the exact opposite side of the district, in the northeast. And we have a much longer history for this property because it was not built in 1968. So we have a possible original construction in 1848 for Christian Gerhardt. That was later enclosed within the property. In between 1854 and 1861, the Buttrick family inhabited the site. And then between 1861 and 1892, the Bunker family inhabited the site. And they spelled their name two different ways, as everyone did at that time. And that includes the families of Edward, George, and Frank, so it stayed in the family for a while. In 1867, Edward Bunker enlarged the house. By 1892, John Olson was inhabiting the house, and he stayed until 1920, when the Seville family moved in, and they stayed until 1956. We know that Ernest Seville raised the residence and reoriented it, and that's when that cement foundation went in, which you can see in some of the photos on your packet. Up to at least 1945, there was a known full porch on the front facade, and you can see that in that 1945 Sanborn fire insurance map. Today, we have the stoop, which is also visible in 1999, which is our current focus of discussion. So we do have some permits for this site. 1994 roof replacement, 1998 they got a new fence. In 2011, they replaced the side stoop. That's not the one we're talking about today, but it is the one that this proposal proposes to mimic. And in 2015, there was a window replacement. So our focus today is specifically on that front stoop. There's also some work happening in the garage, but that's interior, so it's not under our purview, but that's why it's highlighted, in case anyone was confused about that. And these are the existing conditions of the stoop. It's been unusable since the current owner purchased it. As you can see, it's pulling away from the actual wall, and it's really not a walkable site. This is their front entrance, so they go in through the side because it's just not safe to go in through the front of their house right now. And the proposed replacement is drawn out here, and it would mimic the materials of the side stoop, which is pictured, which is the one I just mentioned in the permit history. And the owner has discussed with masons the possibility of putting in stone or retaining some of the stone, but because of the way the stoop is constructed, that's just not possible at this time. And that's all I've got. Come on up.
Hey everyone, how are you?
Hi, could you state your name for the record?
Sure, I'm Matt Sanchez.
Great. Anything to add from Emily's presentation?
No, Emily pretty well covered it. I had a nice meeting with her where we went over a lot of this stuff, and according to my neighbors, that stoop hasn't been usable for a while. I had a mason come out to look at it to see if it could be rehabbed, and he suggested that no, it couldn't, because who knows why it's sinking. It probably doesn't have anything underneath it in order to support it in the first place. This also includes, along with the stoop, also the sidewalk. That sidewalk is pretty much gone. You can see it right there. It's the male workers are not allowed to use our step, and they don't particularly enjoy walking on the sidewalk. And I'd love to be able to get that clear during the winter and use my actual mailbox in our front door. It would be great. So that's the main purpose here. It's part of there's a lot of work to do, so I'm sure I'll be here again. We actually have Wasco's coming to do the landscaping on Thursday, and then I think I found the original cedar shake, so there's a lot of stuff you'll be seeing a lot of me. So this is the first step to at least get everything up to safety standards. That's pretty much it.
So what's the sidewalk leading up to it? It seems like everything's in, is it just, what's that made from, I can tell?
It's concrete or cement. It's just really, really pitted, and it's just falling apart. I mean, all of that is just like the substrate or the what is it, aggregate that it's made out of. I've tried to step on those steps before, and I think that limestone river rock, whatever they call it, it just like sometimes it just breaks in half. So I think we have a stamp from the sidewalk that's like, I think the original one, I think it says like 68 or something like that. So I don't know when. Excuse me, sorry. And that's on like the city one, so I don't know when this was done, but I mean I saw that it's been that way for a while. I mean our neighbor said as long as he can remember that they just use it as like a closet. So I think it's been like this for a while. So.
Yeah.
Could you discuss a little more about your conversations with the mason in terms of, I'm looking at that. I mean, is anything like those sidewalls, would they be salvageable where you could put cement steps in between those saved wing walls?
Yeah, my original intent was hopefully just to have the runners replaced, so I wouldn't have to do like a full replacement, because I would prefer to keep as much of the historic stuff as I'd like, but I mean it's pulled away a pretty significant amount from the house, and like it's sinking from the front. So I mean you couldn't really. I asked him if we could raise it, and he said if you raise it, it'd probably just crack in half. He was like, honestly, I'd probably at least at the minimum start with the cement, and if you'd like to do some like mason work in the future, then we could discuss it then. But at first we need to at least get like a solid base to work around, because he said he's local. He's in St. Charles. I forgot what his name was, but he was like, yeah, I mean Yeah, he doesn't even know if it would like adhere if we did like runners or, and the other stuff's pretty brittle. I mean, you can pretty much pull it off with your hands, so.
Yeah, it's just, it's one of the more unique features of the
Yeah,
house, I think,
sure.
you know, and it was unfortunate if there's nothing there to salvage it or be able to use.
Sure.
I remember when the house was up for sale, which wasn't that long ago.
2 years.
There was an open house, and so I did go to it. And I do remember the realtor, she only let you in on the side door, and you couldn't even use the front door. But I did take a look at it, and it was really, really in poor condition.
It's tough on Halloween. I put a sign up. It's just like, please don't walk up these.
So I noticed that there's no rail on the cement, on the stairs on the other side. Is that not required by code? Have you looked into that? And would you put a rail on these steps?
Yeah, there used to be a rail on it. You can see there's holes in like I have aluminum siding, and you can see where, you might be able to see it right there above that pot. There used to be railing there. I don't know when they took it off because it's not present, or at least not visible in the current cement. So I don't think I think it was whatever was on there before. I actually had to take out, they just cut it off with like a Sawzall or something, because I had to take like the wrought iron. It was still like screwed into the house, and it was like, it was very scary and dangerous. But when we got it inspected, they didn't say anything. Obviously they recommended it, you know, and I prefer there be one there. But and then with the new steps, I think it would be big enough to where you could, you know, stand up there.
But you're not planning on doing that at this time?
Not right now, no. I mean, I was trying to kind of get it working and then figure out what the next steps were, whether it be like, you know, mason work or maybe trying, you know, because Emily mentioned there used to be, our first thing that we thought about was maybe putting a porch back on it, but it's so close to the road now that like, I'm not sure if that would even work, so. Yeah, just trying to figure out where to go from there, because we kind of want to replace the awning that's there, maybe put like a side on it to make it like an actual place where you can like put packages that aren't going to get rained on, something like that. But the stoop was just, the cement replacement was just kind of a.
It's kind of, it sounds like it's kind of a temporary or preliminary thing as.
Yeah, it's at least to be able to use the front and like be able to, you know, use the
Yeah.
front door and walk in and out. Because like the side, use that as like a mud room, because like our side door opens straight into our dining room. So like in the winter especially, you're kind of tracking stuff in all day, and it's not the most useful.
Yeah.
So did you look at trying to put a veneer on it on the concrete itself with, at least on the sides or something to that effect?
Not with this, just with our budget that we had for this year, because we were
Okay.
trying to get had some like chipmunk issues and also like some drainage issues with like the current
Sure.
like landscaping. So we're trying to get like the foundation shored up, get the water run away from the house, because we've had some problems with getting water in the basement, even with the weather seal down there. So it's kind of just trying to get everything back up to working order and then go from there.
Yeah.
So I assume if you did in the future decide to put, you know, capstone or something on the
Yeah.
treads or
Yeah.
wing walls again, that would come before us.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I'd like to do something like that, because like I'm not there's like a kind of an overhang that doesn't really add much like to the property.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'd
a
like to
little
kinda-
odd.
Yeah, I'd like to like dress
Yeah.
it up and make it look like the other houses that are around there, that are in the area.
Put that front porch on, that'd be great.
I'd love to.
Yeah, exactly. How deep is the first step on that? Is it deeper than is it more than, is
It's 3 feet.
is it not on the new?
Oh, no, not the-
Not on the.
Oh,
proposed,
like
but
up at the very top,
existing?
near the,
Yeah.
at the very top, it's,
Oh.
I mean, you can't really open the door and stand up there.
See, I don't have any issues with that. The only thing that I would like to see is a veneer on there to kind of replicate what was going on there. But again, I don't know whether that's a deal breaker for us, and that's something that you could actually do after the fact. I mean, you could even think about having like a ledge put in so that you can go off that ledge and add that and then cap it off.
100%.
Because that wouldn't cost you any more, it wouldn't cost you that much more to do a ledge that you can add veneer onto later.
That's what when we had the mason come out, that's what he was saying too. He's like, once you get the steps, he's like, you know, we can brick up the side or
Sure,
whatever else,
exactly.
and then, you know, kind
Yeah.
of put some columns in order to go to the top and all that.
Yeah.
But another reason why we kind of wanted to do it in a little bit of stages is because, like I said, I found the original cedar shake is underneath that aluminum. My neighbors didn't even know it was on there, so like we kind of want to pull that off, figure out what the long-term plan is for the house,
Sure.
and kind of get it closer to a historic house rather than
Sure.
aluminum and all that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the intent at least, and also that. Very interesting hearing you think about windows, because we have all historic windows. I'd like to get those like rehabbed, and so I mean, that's our original intent.
And you could actually probably, I found that you can rehab a window almost for the same price as
Yeah,
getting an new window,
exactly.
but you get the benefit of having the original window there.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could take them apart and like get like the sash out and the weight
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything like that. And once I started doing some, I was like, oh man, I was like, this is so interesting.
Yeah.
And it's not that difficult.
Yeah, no. I think the hard part for me is just that there's so many layers on there because I've had
Yeah.
to
Right.
like just to get them open, but yeah, I love it. I love this house. I think it's got a lot of potential,
Yeah.
especially if being on the corner on First Street.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you have a problem with the concrete?
you know, to one point, yeah, it looks like this and it's in poor shape, but at some point it was this limestone and it had an appearance and it's a historic appearance, and so in repair is always our first thought, you know. So if repair is kind of not available to us and, you know, sometimes things are far gone and it's not something that we can do much about, then we look to, you know, a potential replacement like this. We do like it to look then, like, it's just like replacing a historic window. Say that a window is beyond repair, then there's historic windows that you can use that replicate that kind of design. So it would be nice to see that kind of limestoney kind of appearance on the steps. And to your point, I think that, you know, if it's something that isn't available now, then we would certainly want to see us move toward that in the future.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I just kind of gave a roundabout answer, but I feel like I could be okay with
Yeah.
things as,
Well, at least we'll match the other sides too.
yeah, exactly.
And we really don't know how old that is.
No, it could be.
Not in the period of significance.
Right.
Right.
It could be, and it might be actually, because it might be something that somebody put together themselves in the mid-60s, late 60s, and then it would fall apart.
That was
Well, yeah, and it's a tough material to
deal with.
sustain over time.
Yeah.
That was something else that Mason said too. Is he's like I wouldn't feel comfortable because I asked him if he could just like do the runners or the steps, whatever.
Sure,
that kind.
exactly.
I was like, can you just do those? And he was like, honestly, I think these are just rocks stacked together with like cement in the middle. And he's like, I'm not even sure.
Yeah, they walk down the street to the quarry down there.
Yeah. Honestly,
some-
Pull
Came
it
back
out.
with a wheelbarrow full of rock, yeah.
like he was like, I could, but like I wouldn't feel particularly great about that, you know,
Yeah.
for it because it wouldn't be safe and I couldn't guarantee the work. And so no, I wouldn't do that.
But you seems very sincere about the house and trying
Yeah.
to improve it.
Thank you.
And it's clearly, to me, a safety issue. Obviously, I've been using it for 2 years, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, someone could run off from my mailbox too, and I don't like that.
Some days it may be a good thing.
Yeah, you have two mailboxes.
I do.
Where do you put it?
Sometimes I have to check. I check the other one like once a month, and it's precarious getting up there to make sure that no one's accidentally used that one.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Is it actually leaning into the house? Is it pitching towards the house?
No, it's pitching away. So like it's probably at like, I mean, I'm just taking a guess, probably 10 or 15 degrees. Like when you walk up it, you feel like you're walking uphill, and going back down is the sketchy part.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the part that you just it's kind of because they're not very wide either. So
No, they're
Like my-
probably,
yeah, I don't have a very big foot. My whole foot doesn't really like fit on there, and it's so.
well,
Oh, and I see, so it's taken me a while to realize that
Yeah.
far right picture is just kind of looking on top.
Yeah, that's looking
of
like
how-
straight
where
down at
meets
it,
in the
yeah.
house.
So it's like a couple inches away from the house, kind of
Yeah.
sinking,
Yeah,
and like
it's tough.
the sidewalks kind of sunk down too. And
Yeah.
I tried to actually dig a post for the mailbox there, and I've hit more limestone down there. So I don't know if there's like a limestone path under there, or like if it was just, I don't know. One of my neighbors said that site used to maybe be like a dump of some sort, so I have no idea. I don't know what's under there.
not a super stable material.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we already have it existing on the other side, on the other stoop, it'd be just repeating material.
well, can I get a motion to approve?
Yep, I'll do it. Motion, or move to approve as presented at 302 North First Street, the front stoop rehabilitation.
I'll second that.
All right. Zelmer,
Aye.
Tobler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Phillips.
Aye.
Well, good luck.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for
Have a good
coming
Thank
in.
you.
I'll send you an email tomorrow.
Awesome, thanks so much. See you all again soon.
Great. Next item is 312 North Fifth Street, case number 2025-65.
Great. So actually, the next three cases we have are some return friends of ours. So we're going to start with something that was under concept review last month, so some of you might remember that. It is, again, a different corner of the district. We're hopping around tonight, up in that northwest area. And again, we have a pretty long history here. The belief is that the workers' cottage portion of this house was constructed in 1845. I did look to find some further evidence of that, like was requested last month, and I wasn't able to find anything specific, so I assume it's what was seen within the house on previous site visits. Greek Revival portion was constructed in 1855, then the house was conjoined somewhere between 1858 and 1862. The house is moved, an addition was added, which is no longer there, in 1897 to 1905-ish. The porch was originally added in 1923 to 1930. At that point, it was not enclosed. It was enclosed sometime during the 1960s based on the materials and construction techniques that were used to enclose it. In the 1980s, a different addition replaced that service wing, and in 2014, renovations to restore earlier features were initiated. So this is a series of the permits. I'm not going to go all the way into these since we talked about them last month, but 2025, last month, we did have a concept review on the currently proposed permit. That concept review focused on the blind corner windows, or infilling with siding, which we'll see later, different material choice options, and the potential need to remove the aluminum siding, which we'll also see later. Maintaining the visual separation of the different pieces of the married house, consistent with the character, and different technical concerns regarding parts of the project. So this is what we have existing. And this is the current preferred proposal. So as you can see, this is the proposal without those blind windows and with siding instead, as was discussed in last month's meeting. And then this is if those blind windows remained. Again, those blind windows would still be closed and wouldn't be an officially open surface, but would act as a false window to keep the rhythm. These are the windows. We do have an updated estimate, which the applicant will be able to discuss once we get up here, but basic estimates for replacing the windows are sitting at $23,220 for the preferred material. And just because there was a lot of discussion about it last month, these are some examples of blind windows in the real world that aren't drawn in a render. So we're looking at something probably closer to the upper right corner, which doesn't have glass in it. Just so everyone has a better visual of that, if that's the option that ends up going on. But again, the preferred option is the option with just siding. So this is the existing siding. It's aluminum with possibly some vinyl mixed in.
I think it's actually just vinyl.
It's all vinyl?
I
Okay.
think it is.
You can see the tabs in the lower right.
Oh, there you go. And then we were able to get some of those portions pulled back so that we could see what's underneath. And it's really just insulation sort of poorly applied or falling apart at this point, and the basic wood that was built to enclose the porch. So there's no historic siding underneath. Big announcement. And this is the proposed siding replacements. 3.5-inch clapboard siding, hardy, to match the exposure of existing and that vertical siding for that bottom portion. That's all we have in summary, if you guys want to come up and join the
I have
discussion.
one question.
Yes.
Related to the agenda
yes.
here. What is an assistant U.S. collector? Do you know?
I believe.
William Adams is.
I think it's tax collector.
Is that someone's
So the
position?
federal, yeah,
Oh, okay.
the federal tax collector for like this specific area.
I
Okay,
bet you he was a popular guy.
Oh, yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Anais, if you do want to see the picture of the new estimate put up, I put it
Yeah.
on the transfer drive on there, but it might be kind of hard to pull up, so.
Oh
could
man,
maybe-
I've never had to do that. Just see people
Yeah, it's in the same.
struggling
folder
with
as
it. Okay,
I
sorry,
know
it's
we're all
where?
old friends here, but should we?
Oh, yeah.
You
Sorry.
should note yourself,
Yes,
please
I'm
state your name.
Anais Bowering,
I'm Daniel Bowering.
and we're, here to talk about our house, 312 North 5th Street. I will let, okay. So again, a bunch of you were here last month, but not all of you. So we've lived in the house for like 11 years. We've done a number of things to it. We pulled off a bunch of vinyl siding that was in terrible shape and repaired the existing wood siding that was there, and then replaced where there wasn't wood siding. We've replaced a bunch of windows. Now we want to try to actually get a little more usable interior space. So the front porch, we don't have a garage, so we've been using the front porch kind of as a garage, store bikes and gardening tools and whatnot. We took away the HVAC when we first moved in because the build quality was extremely poor, and we just felt like we'd be pouring money down the drain. There's not really like a proper foundation under it. So we wanted to try to turn it,
When you say there's not a proper foundation, what we mean is the floor moves like a trampoline.
yeah, when you walk on it. So we want to get, make the front of the house look nicer, have more usable steps. Right now they're just like contractor grade, super narrow. Thank you, Emily. And we don't really have, we mainly use our side door to come in and out because this part is not conditioned, so it's very hot in the summer and very cold in the winter. But we are 5 people now, as my mom lives with us, and a dog, and it's very cramped coming in and out of a mudroom that's like this big. Anyway, so our plan is to try to make that a proper entryway and then have a kids' playroom. So for that, we did want to move the front door down a bit. Right now, it's not lined up with anything. Our humble opinion is that this was just tacked up. I wanted to note, and I'm sorry that I didn't think to bring it in, we have some maps that we got from the Geneva History Museum back when we first bought the house. And I think that the original porch doesn't even have the same footprint as this porch, because it wasn't, like this hugs, the existing structure, like it's flush with the other parts. And I don't think that's the case for the original porch.
I think I noticed that, actually.
It was narrower, right?
Yeah.
In the same mark. Okay, oh, you guys had that, great. You can tell I totally read all of your packet. Anyway, so we are hoping to, make this a real functional space for us. So that involves taking out some windows. Our preference is to have some siding. I do understand the concern about changing the rhythm. Again, my considered but humble opinion is that this was not done with the aid of any sort of architect. I think it was just slapped up. Sorry, the original porch enclosure, I think it was just like materials they could find and how cheaply they could do it. And so in that vein, and because it's, we don't know exactly when it dates to, but it's quite close to the end of the period of significance, I think siding looks nicer. And I think it's in keeping with, like, I've been looking at all the porches in our neighborhood, and I know that's not exactly the metric, but there's such a wide variety in our neighborhood of porch design and window placement, et cetera.
And no examples of blind windows in the neighborhood.
No examples of blind windows in the neighborhood. So, I mean, I understand their purpose. It's just not my aesthetic preference, and given the amount of money we're going to spend on it, I'd like to like looking at it, but otherwise, anyway, so we're happy to talk more about it and hear from you guys. It seemed like there was some split opinion about siding versus blind windows when we were here before. I think we're really not interested in anything that would involve glass or probably even painting anything black, because I think it's so close to the street that that would look really weird.
It would stand out.
I think it would just really, I don't know, to me, it just seems like it would be odd looking. But yeah, happy to answer questions.
I will just
Do you know?
note that this porch is the last aspect of the exterior of our house that we have not personally rehabilitated. So once we cross this one off the list, then the whole house will be newish on the outside.
Well,
Or it will be
fixed-ish.
Fixed on the outside. No, yeah, exactly.
But then you'll be ready to start all over.
Yeah,
again,
correct.
Right, so,
Yeah, it's like
The
painting
joys
the
of
bridge, you
homeownership.
start again.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So you don't want any windows or any views out front from this porch?
No.
Sorry, no, we're just reducing the number of windows.
If I may, is the laser pointer preferred or is the mouse preferred?
Laser would be amazing.
Okay.
Well, these are kind of like point at one side.
All right, so the original porch you see is wall-to-wall windows on both sides.
Yeah.
And the proposal is to replace just the windows on the edge.
Well, it's 2 windows, so it's 3 windows on the front side. So right now there's 12 windows. There's
Sure.
8 on one side and 4 on the other.
Yep.
And we're proposing reducing that to 7, so 5 on the front and 2 on the
But
side.
these are still operable.
These are actual
These are real windows, yeah.
Windows, there's
Yep.
glass, okay.
The
I don't
goal-
know, we
the
were
goal
some
is to-
discussion about the blind window.
Yeah, so the
Where's
second,
that?
We were encouraged to consider blind windows
Oh,
in
on
the
outsides.
corners.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh,
and that's the second proposal, the ones that are shaded in white
Yes,
and not gray.
I gotcha.
Yep.
I am following now.
And thank you, Lisa, for asking that. I was just getting ready to add, I was like, what? No windows on the front, but thanks for asking that for clarification.
It's like, that thing look tough. And so last month, the objective was really to hopefully maintain the pacing of the windows visually as it exists today. And your point is that and then there was the idea of sliding the door over a little bit too.
Sorry, so both proposals involve moving the door over
Right.
a bit so that it's not shoved into the corner and so that it lines up with the rest of the entry into the house. Because right now, they don't line up, and like the closet, this gets into interior stuff, but like the closet for the first floor bedroom sticks out into the porch, and we're planning to rearrange that, but we do need some, and we want a closet for
Sure.
putting coats and stuff. So
Yeah.
moving it over helps us achieve both of those things
Gotcha.
with a bit more elegance on the inside.
Okay.
And I think lets us have a wider walkway that is not then cutting into the Greek Revival portion of the house or really off-center.
Yeah.
So,
Imagine coming up the stairs as they exist with 2 small kids and a dog. It's like impossible.
A little narrow.
So the windows that we're, yeah, the windows that we're talking about, because I mean, there's a lot going on here.
Sure.
Why don't you go back to the other version, the preferred version, or did you want to look at this one?
Well, my
sorry, I think I
question,
pushed it too many times. Hold on.
Oh,
Sorry. Okay, sorry.
just for clarification, the windows they were put in about the 1960s, correct?
That's our guess based
Okay.
on the style
So there's
of the
nothing,
windows.
they aren't historic, they're not original, they're nothing other than they were put in
According to
probably
Emily,
in the
they are
1960s.
really at the end of their lifespan. The aluminum,
But not historic.
but not historic.
Not historic.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
and may or may not have been in the period of significance.
Right. I just wanted clarification on that.
Those original, oh, well, not original, the current windows are built with aluminum channel sliders, which is really dated to the 60s. And those over time have come really out of fashion with window constructors because after about 20 years, they fall completely useless. You can't open your windows anymore. So that's how that's dated and how
Okay.
the enclosure overall is dated as well.
Thank you.
Any
One
other
more question, Paul. And the siding, again, is unknown. We don't know the date of origin for the siding. And it's not
Well,
historic.
Well, it is vinyl siding right now. And it looks like underneath is either sheathing or insulation. And neither of those would be considered
So
repair.
yeah, and we did pull, and it's a little frightening how easy it is to pull off, but also explains all of the mildew and dry rot inside. So we were able to pull things out at the corner, so this is looking, so the top right corner and the one below it are the south wall, and the other two are the east wall. So it's, yeah, and I don't know why we thought it was aluminum, but it really just seems like vinyl to me.
Yep.
So,
Well, we wouldn't really prefer that. I'm glad that you're going back with hardy because
Yeah.
that'd be more appropriate. Any comments, Kevin?
Yeah, do you know what the thickness of the siding on the wood siding is on the house? Is it going to be comparable to the hardy siding that you've selected?
I don't off the top of my head. I know that we did our best to match it when we were putting up a lot of wood siding between 2017 and 2021. So it's somewhere in the record.
Well, I just asked because
Yeah.
I think you selected the the artisan hardy board lap siding. And I think that's 5/8 of an inch thick.
I think that's not too far out.
And I was just wondering if that was
Yeah.
comparable. The other choice was something that's thinner that I thought probably would be too thin in comparison to your existing wood siding on the house.
Yeah, I was gonna guess 1/4 inch. I mean, we've got some in the basement that I draw from when I need to, but I think, yeah, the thickest part is, if it's not 5/8, it's super close.
Okay. Because I think you have two choices for hardy siding, depending on the thickness, and you would probably want to select the one that's closest to what's.
Certainly.
Sure, yeah.
And I think just the fact that it's hardy, the material's different enough to differentiate the porch siding from the rest of the house.
Yeah, and I do like the skirting shown in this one. I think that's a very nice
Yeah.
look. I think it works better as an architectural element.
Then having the siding go all the way down to the ground.
Oh, yeah, I don't think we'd proposed that, but I think the last time before Kevin had noted this and we had the architect adjusted in the drawings, the vertical siding was drawn as the same dimension, same width as the lap siding. This is actually, Kevin was right, this is the dimension that it comes in, but I kind of like it because it's a little wider.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
and I think
good.
that looks nice.
There was one thing with that skirt, though, that I noticed on the drawings, because some of the drawings, I think A4 shows that it's shiplap versus I think you want V-groove.
I think.
Or I'm not sure what you want,
Yeah.
but.
So I think our architect, when we were talking about this and discussing the options and the dimensions, I think she was suggesting the shiplap instead. Is there a reason to prefer the
Well,
V-groove?
that's kind of up to you, I
Just
guess.
aesthetic,
It's
okay.
the shiplap, that dent in it is shallower than the V-groove. So the V-groove would give you more of a definitive shadow line on that skirting, but.
Yes, it seemed like it was gonna overlap more, and again, with all of the water penetration we've had, I was listening to the previous applicant and like, just keeping water out of the house has been one of our all-time
And I think
goals.
most of it's going to be
And-
covered by landscaping and stuff too,
Sure,
probably.
yeah,
So
very likely.
that would be up to you, but
Yeah,
I just,
okay.
on the drawings,
Yeah.
it should be consistent.
Fair enough.
Yes, correct.
Well, in the end, we'll only have one of these options. So yes, but no, that's a good point. Thanks.
Any comments, Lisa?
So I know this is what you prefer, but it reads a little differently. So that idea of the blind window, to me, seems like the logical thing to do to give it that sort of visual appeal. I don't understand the blind window in this respect though, so we're kind of trimming it out and kind of making it look as if it were a window, and then in between where there would be glazing, that is what?
Panel, just wood panel or
Hardy plank, I think, is
yeah.
what you,
Hardy.
like a big sheet of hardy board, not
Okay.
siding, but
Not
just
siding,
a
okay,
slab
that's
of
what my
hardy that
concern,
would
like,
be,
what is
I'm
going
assuming
there?
some color.
Uh-huh.
No,
Right?
our
Or what
architect
would it
was
be?
saying she thought it should just be the trim color.
White.
Yeah.
Or-
It's an
yeah,
off-white
off-white.
color, yeah.
She felt it was so close to the sidewalk that if we tried to play some trick with glass, that it would just,
Or not glass, or even with the color,
Color,
like
even
with
painting
the
it, the
color.
window
Color.
trim, like,
It would
she
just-
suggests, yeah, she thought that would look more hokey.
Yeah,
I'm
a
paraphrasing,
little
not sure she said hokey.
concerned if it's not glass more than anything else.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a little
And I
confused on
think
what
that kind
that.
of pushes me towards the preferred proposal,
Right,
actually.
I know, like, that's great and all right there, but, I mean, someone was reacting to an existing condition. We're creating this condition.
Yeah.
And it seems a little.
If you go back to the blind windows
unintentional.
too, those are, but I think, I don't know whether that top one is glass or a panel.
That one's a panel, which I made sure to add just because we're talking about options with no glass. So that would be not painted black and obviously many less lights. But
Yes.
that's the concept for the specific.
I just feel like that's in response to an existing condition, you know?
Correct.
something- And this, we're creating a new condition. We don't have to do that, you know? I don't know. And I don't hate to be like the aesthetic police, you know? I just don't know how that would look in application.
Yeah, I,
Especially if we're talking about matching the trim color and all that, that really doesn't sound right.
It's the same conversation we had last one too.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, my thoughts on that were that we're not sure that those windows are even significant
Right.
within the period, because we don't know when they were
Right.
put in there.
I would almost
And
rather see the preferred submission than to see that.
then the blind windows.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I prefer the preferred
Yeah,
submission too.
exactly.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you guys wanted to get rid of the windows anyway to have more like living space for stuff
A little
as well.
return
too.
wall.
Yeah,
on
the
the
justification
inside, yeah.
was to lower energy costs and to use the interior
Right.
space. Like, you can't have a bookshelf hard up against an exterior window, that was weird.
Exactly.
But really you're not gaining any more wall space interior with a blinded window versus
No,
a
that's-
side.
No, but
That's
the
just
reason
as-
why we're going from a full wall of windows down to the preferred proposal, right? The reason why we're losing some windows is, number one, energy efficiency, number two, interior space efficiency.
Right, so in the front, you're gonna lose one for the door anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You're just losing a second one for the siding next to the door.
Two more.
Well,
So
I
one-
know
yeah,
you're
but
losing
one on
the
either
one on the
side,
other
yeah.
corner, but
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, I think for, what was I gonna say? It's just aesthetically, we prefer the siding too, but that's just, I mean, I think it's, yeah, it's not that the blind window versus the siding gains us anything on the interior.
Yeah.
It's just, we thought the siding looked nicer.
It
Like
helped
less-
us,
Yeah.
it helped us to feel better about this, that in my opinion anyway, it's just my opinion, the rhythm is preserved because the size of the gap is the same as the size of the windows. Not that the windows are all standard sizes anyway.
Right.
There's some variability there, but the rhythm is preserved even if there's not physically windows or
The
blind
size
windows
of
in
the,
those spaces.
the space is the same size as the
Mhm.
windows. Yeah, it does take away that sort of ribbon effect of windows that was there, that's there today. So I guess our question is, are we okay with that loss of that continuous band of windows?
Well, again, according to Kevin, windows are not historical, right?
Right.
So,
Right, and
Well,
the
the
fact
window
that a front porch was enclosed in the past, enclosure of a front porch, in my mind, is generally something that, takes away some of the historical integrity of a porch. And I think, there are, NPS documents about porches that kind of, agree with that. So the fact that it was enclosed in the first place, in my mind, is problematical. And so we don't even know how, whether they were, within the period of significance or not. So the fact that we're losing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows that really their significance is unknown, in my mind, is not a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
One thing I would ask, though, in terms of, and maybe we'll get to this, did you have a new cost estimate?
Yeah, so
'Cause
I
I know-
think Jesse was able to bring that up. So
Okay.
the cost per, so and this also lists them all as the same size. And again, I apologize, our contractor was in Poland for a lot of the last month, dealing with a family member in the hospital. But, so this I think is the estimate for 7 windows. As you can see, they're all the same size. And unless we hear differently from you, our plan has been to have 2 different sized windows because right now they are 2 different sizes. I think that I included a document that listed out the size of all of them. They're one size on the front and one size on the side. And again, I don't think that was an aesthetic or architectural choice. I think that was like, here are some pre-made windows we can get and put in, and that will, come close enough to fitting the space we have. Sorry, but you had a question about
Yeah, so
this.
your cost now is, for the Marvin windows, is less than...
Because I think before, we didn't know whether taking out any windows was gonna be an option,
Okay.
so I think the other estimate was just for more windows.
Right.
Probably 4 more windows.
So my original question was then, it looked like renovation of the windows that were going to be kept was going to be cheaper than replacing them,
Yeah.
but now that's not the case, correct? Because
Correct.
before, restoration of the existing windows was
But I
like, what,
would also
23.7?
note that I don't, yeah, it didn't sound like from what I was hearing from Emily that there's a lot of restoration possibility for this particular type of window because they're not actually made with the good old stuff. It's,
The aluminum
Right, but he
Yeah,
did give
yeah.
you a cost for that, so I'm assuming
did.
he thought that they could be restored. Is
we
that-
were required to give a cost for restoration. We were not given an option, so he had to come up with something. I don't know exactly what
Oh,
it's based
okay.
on, but that's a requirement in the application.
It likely was based on if there are any changes to those aluminum tracks, replacement with similar, which are currently sold or in plastic options. There are some aluminum options still available, but that would mean that in 20 years when those fail, they would have to be replaced again. There's no ropes or weights or pulleys in these windows.
There's no,
It's a friction thing with the,
Yeah,
Right, and I'm assuming that cost for renovation or repair of those windows probably didn't include screens or storm windows,
I don't think
Do you
so.
know?
Yeah,
which would have added to the cost.
Right.
Anyways, so.
right.
so the windows, now does anyone have any issues with the siding per se? I don't see
I have
that
no
as.
siding issues,
no.
No.
other than making the drawings consistent.
Sure. Okay, well,
And then I guess I would ask the windows, if we want to talk about windows, they're going to be aluminum clad wood, and then will they, I know we don't have any say over the color, but what color would the aluminum cladding be?
So that's a great question. Right now, I have to look it up. So unfortunately, this does, anyway, I do have more recent pictures, but not that I sent them to Emily. If we go, it's one of the historic window colors from Benjamin Moore, but if we are able to zoom in on, I don't know, like in this part of the house, from one
I
of the
guess what I'm
ones that are
asking is, will they
architected-
be different from the rest of the house?
No.
Okay.
No, we're gonna try to get that as close as possible. They're basically like a dark green color that actually kind of looks black from the street, but it's technically a green. So yeah, I don't know, are we able to zoom in on this?
not on this one,
No, okay.
but you can kind of see.
But you can kind of see,
If you'll forgive me. Let's see. All right, so this window right here,
yeah,
is dark green. It's the same color as the front door.
Nope.
No, different color?
Different color.
Different color, excuse me,
The
different color
door
than
is
the front door.
Sargansett green, but I think the windows are different.
Amazing to me that you remember this.
But not the name of the other one.
And for the benefit of those over here, I'm pointing at this right here. So difficult to zoom in, but Annie's is right. It
But
looks-
yeah, so this one might be easier to see on the,
Oh, yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
make it do?
The red button.
The red button, okay. This window, again, it just kind of looks black from here, but that's a solid wood Marvin replacement window, but our aim is to have them be cohesive. And again, that's also 2/2, and we're not replicating that because it's not appropriate for here, but same trim, same window color.
Okay.
And then the trim color will, yeah, be similar.
Standard colors through the whole exterior of the house is the plan.
Right.
Okay. Unless, I don't think there's any other issues, correct, specifically?
I think if we've talked about the windows, the siding, and that door movement and the additional porch, which was discussed at the last.
Yeah, I don't think anyone had an issue with
Yeah.
moving the door over to get it working better.
Right.
And, yeah, so, and we do appreciate the more detail on the permit set, so that's good. And, if that's the case, can I get a motion to approve as presented? And just make sure that we are approving the preferred option?
Yeah, yeah, I can put something together here. Okay, so I move to approve the enclosed porch rehabilitation, the proposed preferred submission at 312 North 5th Street.
Second.
Second.
Zeller,
Aye.
Tobler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Phillips.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thanks for coming in. I'll
Thank
send you an
you.
email tomorrow.
Thank you.
And thanks for taking good care of that house.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's probably a labor of love.
Yes. It's a difficult relationship.
It's like having kids. Okay, the next item is 101 West State Street. No, yeah, front porch. No, I don't think
That's windows, that was a typo.
That's a window replacement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
I apologize for that. I didn't catch it reviewing my slides this morning.
that's all right.
It's on the agenda, right?
Perfect. All right, we've moved from the corners. We're now on State Street. This project has come before the commission quite a few times in the past while, so I'm sure you all have seen it. It's right across the street. Here's some history of the project. I'll kind of zoom through this because, like I said, we've seen this project come through a few times. So it was originally a wood frame construction building on this site. The limestone building was constructed in 1853 and remodeled in 1890. There have been several storefront changes, which pertains to what we're discussing today, in 1935 and 1946, as well as between 1973 and 1975. The Little Owl, which is pretty well known, is what used to inhabit this site, and that ended in 2019. The project is currently working on exterior renovations to make the site usable again. The most recent permit was approved in 2025, a few months ago, with the condition that the applicant return with window specs, which is why we're here today.
Okay.
So here's some permit history. I'll zoom through that too. The most important thing is that 2025 interior and exterior renovation plan that was most recently approved, but there have been several variations of it over the past few years.
Yeah.
So here's the current plans, what we're looking at. This is what was approved last time this came through on both street sides. And these are what was discussed pertaining specifically to the windows in some of those previous meetings. So in 2023, it was specified that the existing windows on the storefront are aluminum, which is what's going back in. And that in that March meeting, which was most recently 2025, The commission did not favor the storefront windows being operable, and we are looking at fixed windows for today. So that comment was taken into advice. So this is the scope of the work outlined in red, both those storefront windows and then the basement ones on the side. Existing conditions of the current storefront, you can see some boarded up plywood, generally pretty poor shape. Existing conditions on the basement windows, all boarded up. A lot of missing trim and those sort of issues as well. Proposed windows on the west mimic what's already there with that door in the center and then fixed on either side and above. And proposed windows on the east also mimic what's already there with all fixed. This picture in the corner is just an example of the Conair work. It's not exactly what would be going in, just so no one's confused about that. And then proposed windows in the basement would basically be what's there with Conair instead. So that would be aluminum, but the trim has been sourced and would be added around as has been required in previous commission meetings. If anyone wants to see the trim, I brought it in today just in case. But I think you've all seen it before maybe. It's pretty dangerous, so
Yeah.
we'll be careful. It's splintery.
Can you pass it around?
Sure.
Only kidding, only kidding. No,
There's
no,
nails
no.
on the back,
No,
so be
no,
careful.
no, only kidding.
Might want your tetanus shot before we pass it.
Everybody check your... So that's all we've got. If you want to come up and...
How you doing? My name's Dennis Kintop, and I'm doing the work at the Little Owl. And the windows that we showed you last time, the only difference is we're not doing operable. They were almost double the cost of the windows. And there's no value compared to the sound of the trucks taking off and going up the hill. And on the lower windows, we're raising the floor 18 inches. On the Little Owl side, dropping the basement 7 inches. So all those windows except for one are going to be replaced. We haven't decided if we're putting some kind of blinds on them or anything of that nature. It's just clear glass at this point. All the lower windows, we're going to add the trim. I've sourced it. We made custom router bits for it, so there won't be any issue with having that exact oil primer on all four sides and then an acrylic paint. So we should be all good with that.
How does that work with the aluminum? Will there be like a nailer and then the aluminum frame, and then that'll cover up the nailer, or is it going to be?
No, we'll just screw right into the aluminum frame. It'll only have a couple of screws, and it'll be more with an epoxy than it is anything else.
Okay. Because that aluminum face is only 2 inches, or is it less than that?
I can't say for sure.
Okay. And then there are a number of things coming through those windows right now. The fire sprinkler connection and stuff like that. Is that being?
That one's got to stay.
Okay, is that
Because right now,
that's the one?
I'm working with the gas company to get the gas meters out of the basement. But the one that's where the gas goes in, and that's where the fire department connection is. The other couple of vents, everything's being replaced, so none of that'll be there. I'd like to come back and fill that full of stone, but I haven't matched my stone. I can't match it.
No.
They don't make that yellow.
No.
The white gravel that we see, that's just, the deeper you go, it turned white. The stone at the top is yellow. So I'm working on it, but I'm not comfortable with that, showing you anything at this point. But I think that filled in with stone, would look better than painted plywood.
It would almost be a blind window like
It is,
we were
yeah.
talking
Right,
about
so,
before.
I'm not asking for anything, I'm just letting you know I'm
Yeah.
working towards something on that.
Sure. Okay.
And the front windows, I'm working on pricing to rebuild all of the front windows on the upper level. Nothing on the side, nothing on the back at this time. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the one stupid window that's going to be in our kitchen right behind our That's where our hood is gonna be. So I'm working on that to see, so I'm probably gonna have to come back to you a couple of times. I'm trying to get it all figured out, but there is a lot of moving parts in this building.
What's the stupid window? Is that the one on the first floor, kind of at the back side? down
Yeah, I call that
all
a
by
stupid
himself?
window.
I was like,
On the north
Because
side?
there's, I mean, it's just a casement window that
Yeah.
it was in the bar, so.
Yeah.
But it really messes up my kitchen, so I'm either coming back with a blind window, or if the stone matches, or I talk to Emily and we work through something together so everybody's happy. I'm not here to make you do something, I just,
But we're not talking about that today.
No.
No, you could almost put, the front is that masonry in the front? I can't see that well.
yeah, it's 100% masonry building.
Yeah, but not stone though, just regular
It's
brick.
just brick.
You could almost fill that in with brick, and, because that, if you could get, you wouldn't even have to get that close to it because they're so far apart. I'm not trying to design your building.
No,
I'm
neither am I.
sorry.
I'm not either, I'm just letting you know that I'm thinking.
Yeah, okay.
Just a thought, I was just thinking about, you're talking about the brick and all that, is it possible to take stone from one side of the building that's not visible and that matches to put in that window?
Well, I'm tearing out enough walls in the basement that I have enough stone, but it's gonna be rubble. You know, we build all the internal walls with rubble, you know, that's smaller
Well, yeah,
pieces. So it would look funny. It
Yeah.
wouldn't, because we have fairly good-sized stone, as you can see on the side of the building.
Yeah,
Really big on the bottom,
Right.
yeah,
but I'm just trying to work through it.
sure. But get back to the part at hand. Does anyone have any issues with what he's shown on the new?
I mean, this is
New
what we
windows.
asked for. You know.
yep, and the transom windows are remaining, correct?
No,
They're going?
everything is brand new.
They're remaining in the style, but they're being replaced.
Correct. Well, it was one of the things in some of the previous meetings that you had,
Yeah.
it was actually lowered down, the style, or the mullion was on those windows.
Could you go back to the window? Yeah, that.
Okay.
Are are those, the one on the right, are those 3 equal panes? I'm not sure they are.
Within reason,
Okay,
but they're gonna be whatever they are. I don't have any
Yeah.
choice in that.
I
am
think they're gonna line
replacing.
up with the
Yeah, with
the
what it
rondels
does.
above?
rondels, yeah. I mean, I remember
From last
discussing
time.
that in previous
Yeah.
Yeah.
meetings.
And the columns are wood. We got wood columns supporting the steel.
That's
Those are 2
interesting.
I-beams at the top. So I'm replacing all the columns. All 4 of them are being replaced, rebolting the lentils together.
Okay.
Well, I think it was a good idea to like abandon the operable windows on the storefront. That, I think it was a good idea. I'm not clear on the windows on First Street, the square ones. Those are gonna be glass windows?
They're the same as the front. They're aluminum windows, so aluminum frame with glass. 1 pane, tempered.
Okay, so that's not a, I mean, can somebody easily break into that and get into the basement?
Is that part of this submission?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, there's one little chunk in the one.
on the
third
blueprints,
page.
3rd page,
Okay.
upper right-hand corner.
You should be able to see it in the additional documents, which you'll be able to see on the computer. And it's also that
Yeah.
cropped out, so.
Gotcha, oh, okay, I knew that. It's getting,
Was that ever a concern? Security?
No. They're gonna, any glass I put there, they could break through. This is gonna be the most durable with all the salts and everything that I'm dealing with. Both from the sidewalk and from the street. Otherwise, it's a wood-clad window or something, you know, it just didn't, this to me made the most sense, that's why I put it in that way.
Any other questions or comments? Jewel?
Nope.
Andrew?
Nope.
Lisa?
No.
Kevin?
No.
No. Now that I've gone around the room, I don't think I have an issue with it, so I think it is, I mean, it will be, what's the color of the aluminum storefront? Is it gonna be dark bronze?
Dark browns.
Dark, yep,
That's what I expected.
yep.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Sure. I move to approve the window replacement on 101 West State Street as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, call the roll.
Zelmer,
Aye.
Tobler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Phillips.
Aye.
You are approved.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
David.
Thanks
you.
for coming out.
When do you think you're opening?
Trying to make holiday plans.
About when you think you're starting. We're replacing some of the steel and making the openings bigger, because by raising the floor on the little outside, now the lentils are too short to get between how we're doing it. We're replacing the front stairs, because we're gonna completely gut the upstairs and make 2 Visbos and two standard lease apartments. So I'll be coming back like to show you the front door I want to put on where the old door was. It used to go upstairs. I'm putting all those stairs back and I go up to the second floor. I have found a guy that can replace some of the missing steel on the column and on the parts up by the gable end. There's metal missing. It's just been covered in sheet metal, so I'm having it replicated. I'll have to take them down and put them back up, but I hope to turn in my shoring, because I have to shore the steel lentils to take the columns out. That's only holding the front of the building.
If you could
up.
talk at the,
Dennis.
oh,
I'm sorry.
oh, no.
Anyway, soon.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to have it open sometime. It's 4 to 5 months of construction, so it's December, something to that.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So a holiday party.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, the next item is 310 South 4th Street, front porch expansion. Is that a front porch expansion?
Yes.
Good. I shouldn't read off the, yes, this is.
Yes. Last but not least for our permits, we are now more in the middle of the district over there on 4th. We have a few items of history for this project. It was constructed in 1915 by the Wilson brothers, who we know well. The house was sold from its original owners of Leonard and Lucy Mead, and then we kind of lose track of it for a lot of the rest of its history, but we do know that sometime between 1923 and 1930, according to Sanborn fire insurance maps, this stoop was constructed. We don't know what its exact style was, but it's in the same location on those maps as it is today. And you can see that up in that Sanborn map. A few permits that have been pulled include a new roof in 1987, an addition in 2008, some work on the landscaping, patio fences in 2011, and work in 2014 on the driveway garage, and a little bit of new construction. And then in 2025, this is another return customer, we saw a concept review for this, and we've come back with more spec'd out plans that are able to describe exactly what the work will be. And if anyone missed my email this morning, we did get the exact spec'd out plans, which were in the updated agenda online, and you have in front of you. I also included printouts of the spec'd out plans, but those are 8.5 by 11, so they're a little hard to see.
Yeah.
So during the concept reviews, a couple things that were discussed is that the existing porch roof may date to the 20s to the 30s, like in that Sanborn, and they should be preserved or replicated if possible. The rendering presented appeared to extend the porch deeper than the current conditions will allow, That is not the case in these spec'd out plans. They've been checked by Jesse and myself and the architect, so we're good on that. It would be important to maintain visibility of the original transom window and the general architectural lines from the public right-of-way. The design should ensure compatibility of the historic character of the home and avoid introducing elements that might visually conflict with the period style or sort of create some sense of false historicity. And while historic accuracy is encouraged, flexibility was noted because a lot of changes have occurred to this, known changes have occurred to these porch posts and railings over time, as well as the general sort of platform of the current porch stoop. So this is the site we're looking at. As you can see, zoomed in a little bit, that new front porch would cover the entire front facade rather than just the stoop setup. And like I said, that is all good within the zoning conditions. This is what we have existing, including a little drawing of the existing so that we have those measurements of that front stoop for the reconstruction, which is planned to happen in the proposed. So this is probably the best updated drawing with all the specs of that proposed. So that original stoop is proposed to be fully replicated. As you can see, the transom is still visible. And with the extension of the porch, all the lines of the windows are still visible from the public right-of-way, and the majority of the materials that are currently existing on the porch would just be replicated on this expansion. A couple details of that. And then that's all we got.
That was perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so Kevin Fromm, we were here 2 months ago and showed you kind of an AI rendering, and this it kind of looked about like this. And this is so as Emily articulated, what we did is just went ahead and designed something that was more or less replicates that front stoop, and then just kind of extends it to the left. In the stoop, we didn't want to go any closer to the side of the house, so it's about 2.5 feet, because actually the electrical is right there. So since we're 2.5 feet from that side, from the right side of the house, we'll stop 2.5 feet from the left side of the house. Comes out 5 feet. The current stoop comes out about 4.5 feet, so we're extending that about 6 inches. With the extension of the 6 inches, we are actually going to, essentially we need to pull that stoop, the awning, pull that out about 6 inches. So it's kind of a little bit forward of the rest of the roof. But so we're kind of replicating, moving it out just a tiny bit. And like she said, the transom's still going to be visible. We're not touching windows, so I think that's good based on all the other windows discussions. Yes. So we don't want to touch windows. I'm doing my best to keep those in good working order. And other than that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I couldn't read, what's the material of the skirt below the facade of the porch?
The material of the skirt below the facade, that is, we were looking at probably doing just composite wood, just small slats, and so it'll be kind of like boxed out. You've got 2 halves of the porch here. It can be boxed down on the right, boxed down on the left. The decking for the actual porch itself, we were planning on a composite. And then the columns replicate as close as possible. I believe those columns are kind of like a fiberglass concrete today. We'd look to do something similar. Stick with the cylinder all the way up and down. I think the AI that I brought in showed like a box on the bottom and a column on top. Mm-hmm. And I think we dialogued about that last time. Is we wanted to kind of keep the column look. We really like the column look, and we think it's more period for the house itself. And then like a boxed bottom kind of starts to look a little bit like a shaker style. So we didn't want to change the style. The balusters themselves, we're doing I guess like a 2-inch baluster with 4 inches between, or slightly less than 4 inches between, and so that's what we have now. Is we have basically 2-inch balusters. It's a straight like 2x4 on the bottom, and it's a 2x4 with a little bit of a bevel on top, so it's just a little bit decorative. Very simple though, and we'll replicate that.
Those are
for the rest of it.
Those are wood.
I'm almost 100% certain what is there right now is wood. It has like that much paint on it, but it is wood. I don't think the posts are wood. I think the posts are I drilled through to put an American flag on, and it looked like it was actually more like a fiberglass composite of some sort, which kind of tells me that there may have been a stoop put on 100 years ago or so, but I think it's been redone a couple times. I thought there was a picture at some point of about 40 years ago of it actually looked more like
Had metal.
wrought
It
iron.
looked like a wrought iron, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that since the late 80s or early 90s, they've put these, because it's more of an engineered product that I see on there.
Could you go back to the pictures? If you would? Yep.
So you didn't want to come back with an updated AI rendering?
Well, we came up back there with the real stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this in a concept review, and we gave you our feedback, and I think this visually follows it. We can still see the original awning, we can still see the original windows, we can tell what the house looked like before the porch, so I don't really have any problems with what's happening here.
I don't either. I mean, it follows all of the SOI standards that we
Yeah.
go by. It follows the design guidelines for historic properties, so I don't have any questions. I don't have any concerns. I think it looks great.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, that's just me.
Yep.
I don't.
No, I
That's all
agree.
right.
I'm
Agreed.
in agreement, Joel.
Okay.
Paul?
Yeah, you
No, I'm good.
You agreed?
Yep.
Andrew?
I'm good.
Good. Okay, well, I think
Okay.
you, like, to reiterate Lisa's point, you pretty much followed what we were looking for.
Perfect. Good.
So if I can.
We're
get a
excited about it. We're very excited
Motion
about
to
it.
approve?
Yeah.
Have your neighbors approved of it yet, or have you talked to them? I'm just curious.
Well, actually, both neighbors have, our one neighbor has 4 other homes, and this neighbor has at least one other home, gone a lot.
Oh, jeez.
We actually have talked with, actually haven't seen Steve and Mary Jean in probably 6 months. They have a house out in Montana somewhere, and they spend a lot of time out there. But,
Well, they'll be surprised when they get home.
exactly, yeah, exactly, yeah.
I move to approve the front porch expansion at 310 South 4th Street as presented.
Second.
Zelmer,
Aye.
Tobler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Phillips.
Aye.
Okay,
Motion
perfect.
passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. I'll
All
send you
right.
an email
Appreciate it.
tomorrow.
Have a good night.
Thanks, you
Thank
too.
you. Okay, next on our agenda is the zoning ordinance update.
All right, so one last thing for the main agenda points today. I promise we're almost through. So, quick summary of what's going on with this zoning ordinance update. Because this is an update to the zoning ordinance, we're not passing it tonight. We're giving comments that will go to the Planning and Zoning Commission later on, and those will be considered. We're able to give comments because you all are able to give comments because you are members of the HPC, and this pertains specifically to the historic district.
Sure.
And this is specifically on the topic of lighting for signage. So a very narrowed-in topic of an already narrowed-in topic. Just for some context, this is what our current guidelines say. We already have an update on the guidelines somewhat underway. My predecessor started working on it before she left, and I'm about to continue that work. So the current, I don't know if that's what making it echo. Guidelines say that we can only achieve the goal by eliminating signs from exterior light sources such as gooseneck or spotlight, which is what the current zoning says. And common mistakes are included, mostly things that are very distracting, especially things that are moving. I said so anything that would trigger a seizure is probably not a good idea to have in the historic district. And again, these would be updated when the rest of those guidelines were updated. So if this zoning ordinance change is eventually approved, that would be built into the future guidelines. So what's being proposed to be edited is that we would get rid of the signs and awnings may be illuminated from and replace it with external lighting sources such as gooseneck lighting for wall signs or spotlighting for freestanding signs are preferred within the historic district. However, additional acceptable internal illumination may include halo lit signs, die-cut metal panels illuminating individual letters, sculptural layers creating silhouetted lettering, and standoff lettering using shadow from front lit sources, with halo or reverse channel lighting being appropriate. This was done partially by my predecessor through some research of other historic districts and what they're doing, and these photos on the right are sort of examples of what some of that might be, with the bottom right being what's currently approved, that gooseneck lighting.
Yeah, yeah. And so what are you looking for from us?
Just any comments you have on the language or anything that you see that's really
Who developed this
no-no.
statement? This was something that Jackie had?
Yes.
I personally, no.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
No, period.
Yeah,
I don't see
I don't know
signs
that
like
at
that
all.
down Third Street.
yeah,
Oh.
absolutely not. That's me.
Can you, just, I guess,
That's not good to pass on to them?
All right, so, Jesse,
Yes.
this is my thought about what is written in red on the screen in front of me. So, external lighting sources such as gooseneck lighting for wall signs or spotlighting for preferred signs is required, period. So then what am I saying? I'm saying that internal illumination with halo lit signs, die-cut metal panels illuminating individual letters, sculptural layers creating silhouetted lettering, and standoff lettering using shadow from front lit sources with halo or reverse channel lighting is not appropriate.
Yeah. So change that appropriate to not appropriate.
To know.
pretty much, Lisa, and maybe the others agree, your comments are that this whole proposed change should not be put in. Just keep it the way it is.
That is
Yes.
my suggestion.
Correct.
I
Agree.
with that.
Specifically, I would say that the more the die-cut metal panels illuminating individual letters,
Yeah.
I think is even more problematic than individual letters that are halo lit, but I can understand both that if it's not that it's a slippery slope, it's that I think that the way it's done now is the correct manner.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's even more, I think the die-cut metal panels illuminating individual letters is just a step too far.
yeah.
Yeah, then you get into, somebody comes with some weird color, or they got some weird design or font, and you can't you can't write a regulation to cover all the variations that you potentially would
Yeah.
see. So, that kind of signage to me is not sympathetic with
To
the
the
buildings in our
historic-
historic
Agreed.
district.
Yeah.
They're not subdued, they're more on the garish side. It's, and I know St. Charles allows those kind of signs. Yes. I did drive into St. Charles and compared what that looked like to what we have now, and I think ours is much more appropriate
Yeah.
for the district.
Yeah.
Outside the district, fine.
Yep.
But Third Street and State Street, and I do need to ask about Tia Carmen and that lighting, how that got approved.
Sure, so, that was not Emily, that was Jackie who approved that. So I think that was maybe an oversight.
Okay.
Because that probably shouldn't have gone through, as well as with the Revolution
Right.
sign next to it. But yeah, those are the kind of signs that we were trying to, I guess, integrate with this update.
Yeah.
But yeah, that maybe should have been approved before.
Yeah, I would never ask them to remove those or anything like that, but I just don't think that's something that we want throughout the district.
Well, we appreciate your comments.
No, could it be okay?
I think you should come up and
You
state
can
it,
defend St. Charles, get up.
but state your name.
Al Watts Preservation Partners. I do want to defend St. Charles, but in
Okay.
a different way than you're thinking probably.
Okay.
If you look at Main Street in St. Charles, Main Street in St. Charles is a very different kind of place than Geneva is.
Yeah.
And so I think because of the Arcata primarily and the Hotel Baker, and the fact that it's essentially a bar and restaurant district that has been that way since the 20s. And so like when the Duke's Northwood sign went up, which is 1 block south of, west of the Arcata, I don't think that detracted from anything because the Arcata has a gigantic,
Illuminated.
illuminated sign that's been there for, not since the 20s, but I think 40s or 50s maybe. So just as far as like when you're talking to others about it, it's just a very different vibe there. So that's my defense.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And something like the Geneva Theater, that obviously is internally lit sign, and that's, to me, that's an historic sign in Geneva. And, fine, I mean, that's gotta be grandfathered in no matter what.
Inappropriate for like a theater.
Right,
It has some
exactly,
sort of historic reference.
I just don't see that our existing ordinance creates a problem, and I'm just kind of curious as what the impetus for changing it was. Is it,
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Who brought that forward?
It's just, basically, there's been a series of applications or questions about it, whether or not that's possible or whether a change is possible. So we just wanted to bring it forward and ask your opinions on that before going any further with it, which I'm glad.
is it
we
from
got some
existing businesses? or-
Existing businesses, residents,
Well, and
property
I'm
owners.
sure that Tia Carmen created a precedent and someone saw it, and now we're gonna have to counter that
Yeah.
with a language,
Yeah.
Also, just so you guys are aware, the planning division is bringing forward a larger sign code update. That's also why we're kind of bringing this forward.
Yeah.
That's just related to content neutrality, because I think there was a court case sort of recently that made it so that sign ordinances cannot regulate based on the content of the signs. So we're just trying to bring that into compliance too. You guys won't speak on that, but that's why this is coming for you now. So that's kind of lining up with when we take the other one, including this, to the PCC, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I think, as far as signs themselves go, not the lighting, but the sign, and I think I may have brought this up with you and David. A resident commented on the sign that was, I think it's a chiropractic sign or something that's on, what is that street? Campbell. It's a big sign, it's planted in the ground, it's got lighting on it, but it's so big that it covers the facade basically, or the view of a historic building. And I'm not really sure what the ordinance says about positioning of signs in that case, but maybe that needs to be looked at also.
I don't believe the current ordinance has exact wording about the positioning of signs. Our historic preservation guidelines do, so at any point we attempt to keep that visual clear from street side. But that's a good note to also have on the record to keep in mind for future work.
I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact
I
name
know,
of the
I just looked at my
sign.
notes and I can't find the day that you had emailed me about that, or I would.
Yeah, well, I think it was when I came in and talked to you
Yeah.
guys. But,
Well, and it's not to say that some business owners may go rogue too, and just do things without submitting. or-
well, I think when I talked to David about it, he said that they had looked at it and they had approved it.
Oh,
Planning
okay.
and zoning had approved it,
Yeah.
because it fell within whatever
The
the
size.
ordinance was.
Yeah,
So, I guess I'm just saying that, if they're looking at revising some of that, then they might want to look at that
yeah.
positioning issue too.
And I do keep that in mind when looking through
Okay.
administrative approval, so I'll make sure to continue that.
Okay, thanks.
Any more comments for us to?
Nope.
No.
Thank you all for your input. All right, I guess my mic is staying on.
Yes, staff updates?
Staff updates, we've got a few. First of all, this is not on there, but just so everyone knows, the hearing on the blacksmith shop is set for September 4th. That's all the information I have on it currently, but if anyone asks, that's when the hearing is.
September 4th?
4th, yeah. There have been 9 permits administratively approved. It was really the usual signs that don't block the buildings. Landscape, non-contributing properties, and construction outside line of sight. I have begun looking into window workshop options. I think before we go any further and start asking people and really contacting people, we need to nail down some details of what our goals would be and maybe a timeline. I spoke to Reed Russell, who is based in Minnesota, but his dad is in Oak Park, so he travels back and forth a lot. And he's a connection I made through the Window Preservation Alliance that I mentioned last month. And he's done a lot of workshops before, so he had some good advice. Making sure that we have an audience really selected. So are we doing residents? He's done them for real estate agents in the area before, which is an interesting concept maybe for another option. Sort of the population size and location, and how hands-on we're getting versus how sort of lecture-based and maybe pass-around materials. So I don't know if anybody wants to discuss that today or keep it in mind for later, but that's just where I'm at with that.
Okay. I think we might want to table that till next week.
Yeah.
Or next month, just,
But I think we should talk about it.
Can we send you some ideas?
Yeah,
And then we can talk about it next month?
sure.
yeah, yeah.
So while we're talking about next month, I'm going to skip down a few though, just so everyone knows. I am going to be absent for the September meeting, and Jesse will be taking over. I have to go speak at the Past Forward Conference for the National Trust up in Milwaukee. And the day I'm speaking is literally Tuesday, so I can't hop back and forth. But Jessie, as we all know, is very capable, and she'll be prepared with the packet and everything before I go.
Okay.
Are we allowed to have leave? Because I'm going to be there. Not you, not
Oh,
you at this meeting.
I'll heckle that.
At Tuesday meeting.
Are you?
At the conference.
You should come.
I'm going to be there. I'm just wondering if I can heckle you or not.
Well, if you ask some good questions, I'll answer them.
Oh. I'll find something.
Yeah. I've got a team. It's the it's the new policy from the APA.
Okay.
It's happening at the same time as the SHPO discussion, so you have a real toss-up on your options there.
Well, Kelsey and I are both going. So.
Oh, there you go. 1 and 1. And when that policy is something that I helped write, which is why I'm going to speak on it. It's not currently instated yet, but I think I'm going to do a 5-minute field guide when it is, just so you guys can have that updated policy information.
Okay, thank you.
Something to look forward to.
Okay, so the progress on the window workshop options, we should come up with our ideas and then kind of email them to you type of thing? And then,
We can
Sure.
talk in October then. 'Cause
Yeah.
You won't be.
yeah,
I could also wrap up a couple of them, because you'll have to send them to me individually. And have Jesse just bring them up so you all know where everyone is on the same page. You don't need to, you can discuss it as much as you want. I'll be able to watch the video, but that way some progress will be made in the next month.
Can you provide, from your contact, what he recommends?
Yeah,
And then
for
we
sure.
can build off of that possibly?
For sure. Great. Survey update. As you all know, there's been a local survey in progress since about 2016. There are 8 binders from the 1999 survey that have all the information from all the properties on the historic district. I am 6.5 binders into making sure that everything is properly edited over to that new survey and that all the new information is properly added. At that point, we'll be able to get it on a GIS map, so it'll be publicly available, and that'll go through you all for approval before anything, and some of that might include a survey expansion because of a changing date of approval there, which would mean that we'd have to have some contacting of residents and things based on that. So that process is also upcoming. You might be getting that in September to start reviewing, but again, I'll make sure Jesse is locked in on everything, and I'll stay in contact with everyone as well.
And at that point, the period of significance changes?
Yes, so our current period of significance that we're running with is 1966, as we all know and discussed today, based on the most recent update to the National Register survey, which is a 50-year timeline back. in 2016, I believe it was, the ordinance changed that the local period of significance is a 30-year timeline from the most recently approved survey. So right now, the most recently approved survey is 99. However, that was never considered a district expansion because at that point we knew the updated survey was coming and we just wanted to do it all at once. Or I wasn't there yet. They just wanted to do it all at once. So that's never really been updated. According to the new survey, once that gets put in place, under the 30-year rule, since that was ended in 2017, our new period of significance would end in 1987. So that's really where that, yeah. So that's,
1987?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, under the 30-year rule. So that's where that district expansion would come in. It's not an expansion of boundaries, but it's an expansion of time.
Yeah.
So we're into the fifth dimension.
So for
So-
something to get nominated on the National Register, it would still be 50
Yes.
years, but would it be from 50 years from the 2016 date?
If it was a new nomination, it could be 50 years from the current date. If it's to do with the historic district, it sticks to that most recent update to the historic district, which was 2016. So that's where the 66 is, and that'll stay unless someone updates the National Register listing again, which I don't imagine anyone wants to take on. But never say never. So National Register would remain 1966. Local would be updated to 87. And in staff reports after that point, were that to be approved through public hearing and looking through the survey and everything, that would be reflected so that we could see both of those periods of significance. Right now, we just use the National Register because that's just sort of been the pattern.
How would that affect, 1987, I mean, not everything is historic even
Yeah.
from 1966 and beyond, so would that, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, it's definitely a puzzle. So that would basically be like the first step for the ability to be contributing, and then we would be able to determine based on things like that we've always been able to use to determine the materials, the character of the building, the history of the residents, how contributing.
Like that house demolition today, that would have been in with the period of significance. And so we couldn't just use that as, being outside the period, as being the reason to approve a demolition. We'd have to look at, the architectural, the historical, integrity of that house.
Is it unique? Is it
Right.
Is there integrity to it? Is it significant? And
Right, and that house, to my mind, it would have been a more difficult decision because you could consider that, an example of mid-century ranch home construction that, has some value as representing a period of time of architecture, but then you get into, okay, then you guys gotta submit all the costs for rehabilitation, and, do we have to look at whether or not it's feasible, and, all those things that.
it opens a can of.
Right, all those things in the demolition portion of the ordinance
Yeah.
come into play.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
So we'll have some interesting meetings coming up.
But does that automatically change with the approval of the survey? Or is that
Yes.
voted? We're going to approve this, we're going to recommend approval for the survey, correct? And then the city council will approve the survey, correct? Is that the method that it's going to happen?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
And that will likely entail, because it's an expansion, the public hearing process. So we're still working that out behind the scenes because of it being expansion of time versus district lines. The way that's treated as an expansion.
Okay.
But just so you all know what's coming down the pipe. And
Would the public hearings be our group, or would it be the city council public hearing? Or do you know?
I don't know if we've gotten that far in the understanding yet. It would follow probably whatever we've done in the past, just to keep everything consistent.
That would probably mean us, because when we
Yeah.
tried to get the South Historic District, it was a real,
Okay.
that was an expansion. There was a new district, but I could see that as being almost like an expansion of the district,
Yeah, it's a similar
thing.
idea. Yeah. And this was planned all the way back in 2016. There was just, COVID hit. We've had a couple.
Are we
Of
we're
meetings.
not expanding the
They're
district
No
expanding
district
the
lines.
district,
No.
we're expanding the district in time.
in time.
Right.
But the boundaries are the same.
Yes.
Some of the classifications of structures or residents could potentially change. Okay.
Potentially.
Yeah,
More contributing buildings.
right.
And we'll still have, non-contributing due to unalterable changes that will remain, so things like that. It'll stay pretty consistent in classifications. We're removing the potentially significant classification, just because that was very general and hard to determine. But
We are
most of it
keeping
will remain.
significant as a classification?
That's on the updated survey, yes.
Okay.
Ask a question, Mike?
Yes.
When you're doing the, when you're doing the update, are you also updating are you all gonna be updating the non-contributing, contributing, significant rating for every property in the district too?
Yeah.
As part of this
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
And I assume you're gonna be doing that and then they're gonna look at it.
That's probably almost done.
That's actually already,
Oh, that's already done, okay.
that was
That's
one of the things that was done all the way back when Michael was still around.
Okay.
And I'm going through and making sure, final edits is basically my job right now.
And so like you might be seeing the 1985 districted property and may say now that's contributing as part of this too, right?
According to the current proposal, yes.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Mr. Brandon, and please use us to help with educating about that because it's gonna be complicated. Some people are gonna totally not understand what's going on. So we will, keep us in the loop.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, and then one last update on the new commissioner. Since we last spoke, the position opened and closed. So the mayor is reaching out to people right now. We don't really have an update beyond that, but it's incoming and will hopefully be a full house in September. A full trained house. Any questions from commissioners?
No? Okay, next on our agenda is new business from the commission. Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Nope. Kevin? Nope. From the members of the public, do you have anything?
I've said enough.
Very good. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?